Okay, welcome to the Utah OHV Advisory Council meeting. Today is November 2nd, and let's go ahead and begin our agenda by going around the room and doing introductions. Maybe before that, Chris, did you have any opening words you wanted to share with us at all?
Not at this.
Not yet. Okay.
Let's wait for program update, please.
Okay. Let's go around the room, and then Rachel, do you have a good feeling of who's online?
Yeah.
And maybe you can call out their names so they can introduce themselves. Just one quick item of logistics, I guess, for today, and that is Becky is going to be writing up the minutes from the audio recording. So whenever you speak, if you could please state your name so that anybody working off of listening audio knows who's speaking, especially those online. So I'll go ahead and start. My name is Ron Tolman. I am the council chair this year, and I'll be conducting the meeting. I'm also the full-size four-wheel drive representative on the council. And I guess let's go this way. Scott?
My name is Scott Wheeler. I represent the off-highway motorcycle part of this. I'm Jason Blankenagel, representing member at large for the committee.
Tommy George, member at large.
Chris Haller, Utah Off-Highway Vehicle Program Coordinator with the Division of Recreation.
Rachel Toker, the OHV Grant Administrator for the Division of Recreation. And real quickly, before we start with the other people in the room, I'm just going to call out the names of the individuals online to have them introduce themselves. Brody, do you want to go first?
My name is Brody Johnson. I'm the ATV representative, and I'm in my bunker in my basement in Enoch.
And then Fred, do you want to go? No, you need to unmute yourself, Fred.
Oh, I got to forget to punch the buttons. I'm Fred Christensen. I represent the OHV safety representative, and I'm an Annabelle.
And then Tyson Todd.
Tyson Todd with the Trust Lands Administration.
Bill Bostrom from Beaver, Utah, representing the Tusher Mountain ATV Club.
Brett Stewart, Utah OHV Advocates.
Cody Draper, Utah.com.
Devin Chavez, PIO for the Divisions of State Parks and
Okay. Great. Well, welcome. I guess the next item on the agenda is public comments. Rachel, can you confirm whether or not we had any written comments that were submitted?
We did not receive any written comments that I'm aware of.
Okay, so we've allotted a little bit of time for public comments, and just a reminder to the council that this is an opportunity for the public to give us their comments. It's not meant to be a dialogue where we ask questions in a back and forth. It's just an opportunity for them to present some comments to the council before we begin our meeting. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to take? We're gonna limit it to 3 minutes. That would like to take a few minutes to make a public comment.
Yeah, I'm Phil Bostrom from the Tusher Mountain ATV Club. I came before you all in April, got funds for my Main Street trailhead in Beaver. We opened escrow, closed that, and now I'm back. I have an application in for a grant to develop it. I've had great cooperation between the county, which you'll see on my form, are donating the surfacing, removing dirt, putting the gravel on. And then I have a request in for some signage and from also some cement work on that. I've had a lot of cooperation from the city. The city manager has worked with me helped in a lot of ways, especially with vendors to use for this project. I've also had a lot of help from the Pike Trail Committee. From when we acquired the lot, the club has spent about 150 hours of time cleaning it and 14 trips to the dump. Rachel has been there, inspected it. It's ready to go for construction. That's what I'm coming before you today to get some funds to build out the project.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other public comments?
So,
Yes. Will you state your name again, just on the audio, we have that?
Brett Stewart, OHV advocates. I just wanted to give a shout out to Chris Heller. He's done a lot for the program. I want to congratulate him on his retirement. And I wanted to know that we, the OHV program, I really appreciate everything that we move this program forward. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
I want to, I guess, second that because I've only been very short, but I've heard a lot of things about him, a lot of things that he's done. So,
Most of them are bad and usually on the stall of a bathroom door. So
Cody Draper with Utah.com is who I am. Jason will talk more about this, but I'm here to just quick comment. We're working with Uinta County. Utah.com gets about 6.7 million people a year who come and travel to visit Utah and plan their trips. We work with 90% of the counties currently. We have relationships with all the counties, but 90% of them work with us very closely. Express a lot of interest around the board of an education aspect of these trails. And so Jason will get into this a little bit more, but what we'd like to do is create an ultimate kind of database where people can go and watch a very detailed video of Red Mountain as an example of one we did. There's about 5 to 6 very difficult obstacles there. I'm a dirt bike rider, so when I go with my kids, the last thing I want to do is bring them on a trail that will scare them, make sure they never want to come back again, or we're stuck and it's getting dark and we're calling search and rescue because we can't figure out how to get out of there or nowhere. It's happened to many friends before. So these videos will be very detailed. Every obstacle we will give we want to give 2 to 3 different routes and 2 to 3 different vehicles on how to get up that obstacle. We're going to have a very interactive map, so someone can actually look at the map and click on each obstacle throughout the course and watch the 2-minute video of how to tackle that obstacle. That map will also integrate the full Outlaw Trail system, so then they can say, hey, I want to do 3 obstacles on this route, Red Mountain, but it looks like I can branch off and do a couple obstacles over here and loop back into it again. So it'll be a very interactive map, very informative, a lot of videos to help people know what they're getting into. Plus, on top of that, we're going to do a full synopsis video, about 10 minutes, about the whole trail. And then we have a 2-minute video about the trail. We want someone to be able to look at 20 trails in Uinta, and within 10 minutes, watch quick 2-minute videos and know, all right, here's the one my family can do, here's the one I can do, here's the next one that someone else can do. And it will live forever. That is something that in 6 or 7 years, you can look back and say, wow, this is a pretty big database that users can now use and be very well prepared for their trip. And with 6.7 million users, we're gonna have a lot of people who are gonna see these trails and really interact with these videos. So we'll get into it more, but I'm here for any questions or anything. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and review the FIG grant applications, and Rachel is going to present the applications to us in a little bit different format than we've done in the past. Rachel, do you want to explain what you're going to do and then just go for it?
Yeah. So Rachel Toker, just wanted to let everyone know that this time around, we have 22 applications. Out of the total, we have a request for a little over $900,000. Again, our available funds is over $2.6 million that we still have for this quarter and the next 2 coming up. So I just quickly, instead of delving into every single application like we have in the past and spending hours and hours debating and discussing, I just kind of wanted to highlight 3 different ones that touch on each different category that we have. and honestly just go from there. I went through and I reviewed all these applications, and I had a question on one application that I got with the project sponsor, and she answered that question. But ultimately, at the end of this, I think that these are all very valid applications. They're decent applications, and they should all be passed. We can discuss that after, but briefly, I do want to touch on a couple different applications that we did receive. So off the bat, this one is a trail work project, and it's actually a project that we have not seen anyone come from for an applicant from this area. It is Duchesne County. This is for the purchase requires trail equipment as they advance in developing their OHV trails and trail networks. The applicant intends to purchase a side-by-side and trailer to complete immediate and long-term goals. In addition to the funding will be used to purchase trail tools and assist with maintaining and developing their trail systems. We have a lot of different trail work applications this go about, and I know that trail work is the intent of FIG. This grant itself is asking for almost $21,000, and it's for trail work with Duchesne County.
What application number
Sorry,
is
sorry,
that?
it's number
Is that number two?
It's number 2. Thank you.
That's what I was.
Again, just kind of mixing up a little bit in discussing different categories. The next one is the BOR 2022 SLORAX OHV Education. BOR is a nonprofit. Number 3. No. Okay. So it's number 3. And BOR is the Backcountry Off-Road Adventure Rally. Their application is an education category. This is actually a resubmission from last year. Their original grant was passed, and then it was canceled due to the fact that COVID happened and they were unable to complete it. Feels weird just talking on 5, but it'll be okay. The next one is another category. This is number 8. And this is for the Daggett County website, digital maps for download. Again, this is another category. This is the one that was discussed last quarter, and it was not passed because there was a trail on it that the OHV Advisory Council did not see fit for mapping. And as you saw in the application itself, they have the 3 trails listed out, but the last trail will be decided at the next Trails Committee. I know that there was an issue with whether or not Daggett County spoke to their OHV user groups in that area. As you can see, they have gone back and done that work and reapplied for this.
Just to comment on that too, in case the council members or any of the audience is concerned, I want to reiterate both application number 2 and this application. The county has an approved multi-use trail master plan that's been adopted by the county officials, and now we're in those stages now of those being actually implemented on the ground. We're talking about connectivity from Duchesne to Uinta to Daggett County, so each one of those counties have individual trail master plans, but that was taken into account connectivity, and so now we're at that implementation phase.
Okay. This quarter, we only had one search and rescue application, so I did want to touch on this very briefly. It is for Uinta County, their search and rescue. Ultimately, what they intend to do is purchase a side-by-side. This is number 12. What?
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is number 12. This would replace their current machine that is 16 years old that requires a lot of consistent repairs and maintenance, and their request is for $18,200. And lastly, the last category that I did want to briefly touch on is the tourism category, and it is the number 14, and it is the videos of events for promotion, and it's from Pike County. And this is actually, it's my understanding that this is a resubmission from the very, very first advisory council meeting that we had for FIG. It's a resubmission of this. It's been reworked completely. What they're intending to do is they want to host 4 OHV events in their county. It includes the Mama Bear Run, the Papa Bear Run, the Pike Jamboree, and the Halloween Howl. Funding for this project would be used to hire a videographer to attend each event and produce 2 to 30-second videos, similar to commercials, as well as 2 longer videos to showcase the overall experience of the event. At the end of the year, 2 additional videos will be produced for the combined footage of 4 events to assist with future promotion and advertisement for their events.
What was the dollar amount on that, Rachel?
Dollar amount on this one was, let me find it on here.
20,326.
Yeah, that was the total request. Sorry, the total project was a little over 20, and then they're requesting $15,406.
Thank you.
Are there questions on any of the other applications that we did not review?
I had a question. This is Jason. There was one in Richfield that was doing some work on a forest road. I know that in the RTP, they say that it's specifically not for roads. Do we have any rules with FIG about that or any restrictions on that? Okay.
No, as long, and just to share with the council and those listening in and may not understand. So on those particular forests, or I want to go back because if it's a county road, according to the way it's established in Utah code, the governing authority has the ability to open up their individual routes for connectivity. That includes a municipality or county. They may deem certain routes open, or they may deem their whole county open. Same thing with the city. And so if that is considered an open designated OHV route, then absolutely FIG dollars could be utilized to help offset with that maintenance cost if it's installing culverts or signage or things along those lines, as long as it falls within their clear zone of their jurisdictional authority.
This is Scott Wheeler. I have a question. So with that in mind, are you going to be opening County B roads to use OHV funds to do maintenance on then? Because I think you open a can of worms if you start doing maintenance on a Forest Service, main Forest Service road. That's my question. Same thing here. Is that my concern is where is that line that we can't go over?
I don't think there's a line to go over. I think it's taken into account if that particular road is identified as an OHV route. Can the funding be used in conjunction with the dollars that they receive for a County B road through UDOT? Because maybe it isn't enough because maybe some of the traffic on there is associated with OHV use, UTV use, street legal use. And so I think, or what I might encourage moving forward is that is another potential question that is a drop down into trail maintenance of if it's an identifying road that's open to OHV use, please provide a copy of the ordinance and an associated map, because then there's an assurity amongst the council that governing authority has dotted the I's and crossed the T's, so to speak, that it is an OHV route.
Well, that brings something else up. What about the city routes like in Price? There's several routes in Price, main roads that are open to OHV. Is that going to open up and say, hey, we want to put some blacktop on this road? I know that I'm pushing the envelope there, but I'm saying there's got to be some type of a line there. You say, hey, we can't do this.
And I don't think you're pushing the envelope at all, Scott. This is obviously still relatively new. We're going to see these applications because people are extremely creative. It's going to happen. We've had the same very similar approach in RTP where people have put in paved trails and now they want RTP to help fund slurry seal of that. Well, that at the time the council has said, hey, you already are aware of that ongoing maintenance cost. I think it would behoove the council to consider that if there was an application that rolled in for blacktop. Look, have we rolled in? Are we going to open up Pandora's box? And one of the things I would highly suggest and encourage this council to consider is it's called off-highway vehicle funding. Now, street legal is part of that, and that's connectivity, but that's one asset. This is an off-highway vehicle program. Generally, the program, 98% of the time focuses on dirt transportation system, flat out. Now, if a community is asking for signage or wayside finding signs like we've had in Marysville and other areas around the state making that request, I think obviously that is a discussion, but overlay or ripping up asphalt to relay that and say, well, it's OHV route. My feeling is I would probably encourage the council not to make a recommendation for that. Does that help?
It's going to be an issue.
A little. I think that there needs to be some discussion on this because I see a Pandora's box being opened up if we start funding, because I would assume that Forest Service Road maybe perhaps even gets county funding. I don't know. I should have did some more research on it, but that's the first thing that popped in my head is this legitimate? Because I thought Class B roads, county roads were off limits to getting off-road vehicle monies to maintain that route.
Well, like I said, if it's an open OHV route, then the spirit and intent behind that passage of legislation of 2018 House Bill 143 is to help offset that infrastructure and to mitigate the impacts from the different uses along associated with that. Now, it's gonna. Yes, it could open up Pandora's box, but there has to be that ability to take into account. And maybe an additional question is how much use have you garnered that use? So I think there's the opportunity to further expand the application to a degree to ask those questions. If it's this, then here's a drop down to this and explain this.
And moving forward, the council's going to need to take the responsibility to look at each project or grant application on a one-by-one basis. It's going to be our responsibility to know that there is OHV use taking place there and the funding is being used for OHV, what you used the term a minute ago. So it revolved around dirt, but I can't remember.
A dirt transportation
system.
Yeah.
This is Fred Curchison. What it is it's the 04 route coming out of Richfield. It's the main route going up on the mountain. I think there were 7,000 that we counted with our counters going up there, and then it gets on to the 01. So it's the main loop of our Paiute Trail system. There's not another good way to go up on that to Fillmore without going up that route. And I know they just come in and did the other side down in the Sand Rock.
So can I ask the question, this is Jason again, can I ask the question, is there any more detail on why RTP doesn't allow roads in their funding?
Well, so keep in mind, RTP is set aside as a federal grant. And so
it can't match federal dollars.
So that's utilized as federal funds. And yes, to answer that is that, hey, can there be a trail on the shoulder of a road? We have done that in Perry, also in Enoch, that Brody should be familiar with. We've funded a non-motorized trail through there. We've also helped fund over the years connectivity on those shoulders, but it's within the right of way, but it's not competing directly with that. And so in this particular case, RTP has funded several grants with the Paiute Trail system and the Airpine system, and other areas around the state that are probably adopted as OHV
routes
through local ordinances that are probably county-owned roads, but they're not in direct competition because it's a motorized grant or a non-motorized grant along those lines. And so a different set of rules with RTP compared to the state.
Okay. I think that answers,
helps with that.
no, that answers my question. And I was just curious why one was allowed and one wasn't, so.
Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. Stewart had a
We
comment.
have a
Right
comment.
there, so this might be helpful, Scott. For an example, the Poison Springs Road, that just got washed out. So UDOT funds county B roads, they get so many miles per year. So for an example, if they got enough money from UDOT to grade that once a year, and then all of a sudden that washout came through, and they say, we don't have the funding to do it again because we only got funding once a year, that would be a perfect example that if they reached into this program to get funding to redo a B road, and that's exactly what happened within the last 2 weeks, then I think the council should look at it and say, yeah, let's keep this OHV route open, even though it's a B road, it's been funded by UDOT. Well, let's fund it again so that we can open it back up. And so UDOT doesn't fund the B roads, and there was conversation about this in the very beginning of the FIG program. We wasn't going to fund B roads, but that's an example that we may need to if the situation qualifies for it.
Especially based on the amount of off-highway vehicle use that it's getting. If it's a major route, we can't just sit by and let it not be open.
Now,
We're all familiar with situations, not to go off on a tangent. I can give you about 5 examples in this county where damage has been done in the last 2 or 3 years, either by fire or flooding, and the road's still closed to this day. And it's because they claim they don't have the money to do it.
see, we do those kind of situations.
Exactly.
So typically B roads don't get funded. B roads do. They only have certain many miles. If they were to come to us and they were to present to you why they can't do it, would we be willing to? Absolutely. Because now like the Poison Springs Road is now labeled as an OHV route, not just a road. And so they went in there at their own cost and regraded it again 2 weeks ago. And that was probably a 100-year storm. I mean, it was completely destroyed.
It's incredible.
And I was in there the day that after the storm, and I was in there the day they were grading, like 2 weeks ago. So at their own cost, I don't even think they reached it out to get money to fund it again. The chances are they only get it graded once a year. So.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I still believe, this is Scott, that we're going to have some definition. Somebody's going to have to say, these are some guidance on, I know the Forest Service has class.
How and when.
And I realize that we have situations, but I still believe we need some guidance from up above on how we determine this, because I still believe that there's going to be other people that will apply for grant money, and perhaps it will open up a lot of people wanting money to fix a road that they don't have money to fix right now.
Well, and with your foresightfulness and trying to field those questions as a shortstop for us, given the World Series, sorry, can't. I think you've given us some information that we should be able to go back and craft in our application. Are we going to be able to catch all of these? No. We haven't been able to catch them all in 2 years. And I think that's one of the cool things about this is that it's a startup program. We have a lot of flexibility. It's extremely fluid, but and most of you haven't heard me say this in quite a long time. It's a gut check. If your gut doesn't tell you something's not right with an application, that's probably a strong sense to say, maybe it needs to go back and reworked. But it will always, I believe it will always be a work in progress.
I'm not against funding this. I'm just concerned that I believe there were some guidelines, and I'm not sure we were crossing those guidelines. And so I realize we're kind of flexible, but we do have some I would call them rules set in place that or guidance, some guidance definitions that maybe we should look at, and maybe we need to adjust those just a little bit.
And I will go on the record is that there is a language cleanup that is going to hopefully take place and give us a little bit more of that flexibility. Sorry, somebody called and Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Are there any other questions on any of the applications, or do we want to just,
You knew I was going to ask, this is Scott Wheeler. I'm going to ask some more questions. With the adjustments made to the way you want to do this, is that circumventing our responsibility now of meeting as a council and discussing each of these applications?
It's more so that if there's questions that need to be asked, they should have been asked prior to this meeting. It should be more so that it's a quick run through. We've done all our work on it. We know what's going on in the application. And instead of spending, because in the past we've spent 2 to 3 hours debating, and now it's just we need to get into a groove that we can do it every time. With Chris leaving, he's always the one that wrangles us back in. I just think that if there's questions or there's concerns that come up, it should be briefly discussed, but it shouldn't be a debate like it's been in the past. And something that I've done is I go through these applications. I may not have Chris's history and background on everything, but I like to think that I know the majority of what's going on. If there's things that I don't feel comfortable, I would state it. So just, I guess, going forward, just kind of trying to come in with scores and moving through those. And if something's blaringly wrong, then we could discuss it, but less than more based off of what we've done in the past. Because these meetings, there's no reason these meetings need to go till 10 o'clock at night.
Well, and kind of to follow through with that, if I may, this is Tommy George. We should be responsible for reviewing the applications before we get here. If we've done that and we have questions, then we should make note of those. But I agree with the direction that you're going, and I commend you for taking the step to do it, because we do spend an enormous amount of time on details that are trivial. If the app, not to go off, we spend a lot of time on applications that stuff is not there that was supposed to be there, and we try to work through it and be helpful. We're going to need to get to a point where by the time this council sees an application, it passes that level of, what's the proper word, vetting or scrutiny or whatever. So I appreciate this. I am a little bit concerned, though, if we do have questions as council members, we do need to make sure that we allow the time to discuss that and go through that. Does that make sense? But I think this will be so much more productive, and not just the time that we take, because that's why we're here. We agreed to put in the time.
Yeah.
But it's not so daunting to be able to look through these applications, and the fact that you're communicating those with us in a really good, timely manner, and it is important.
Yeah.
And
something that just to take into consideration is I believe there were 6 applications that came in for early review with me. So I reviewed them early on, and I always check the applications. And if I find something that's missing, I reach out to them. And I try to get these applications out as quickly as possible to everyone. But again, I just want to state that this is a quarterly application, and that's why I don't think that if something's not working out, then we just need to send them back to the drawing board, give them our suggestions.
we have an application or 2 in there that's exactly that. And they've provided us with exactly what we asked for in the last meeting.
Yeah.
So does that make sense? Like,
And also, one more thing is that once an application goes through, this is what I do. This is my job 40 hours a week. So if there is something or there is an issue that comes up, I'm the one responsible to handle it. And that's why if I come into something or something comes up, I'll be there to take care of it. So Brody I am saying that he had a question on number 14. 14 is the video. Brody, you're killing me. Video of events for promotion. It is Pike County. They're requesting $15,450 with a total project total of $20,326.
Okay, first of all, why am I killing you?
Oh, we'll hear about it later, I'm sure.
Okay, well, my question is, so they're asking for that $15,000 plus to be used for some very short video clips that, as they say in their application, that it will be used in social media. I imagine social media is YouTube, Facebook, things like that, and possibly television. I'm just wondering, $15,000 for something that an older generation iPhone or Galaxy can do just as well and for free. So I'm just kind of curious about that. Why $15,000 for something that can be done for free?
Chris, do you have something to add?
You want me to? Yeah. So Brody, this is, and others, this is Chris Haller. So I'll just go on the record here. I think we're at a point where nothing is for free anymore. Everything has a cost value associated with that. There's productivity, there's production costs, there's getting the right feel for what they're trying to promote in that particular area. I can tell you that with us removing and I'm talking on the program standpoint, I'm not trying to cloud the question, I'm just trying to paint a picture here, is that we had a budget in the OHV program of approximately $65,000 to $85,000 a year. So what do we do now? Those maps are available online. They're available by us through PDFs. They're available by previous employee work. They're available through interactive maps, but that still costs. There's still costs associated with housing that. There's still costs associated with trying to keep those updated along those lines. My case in point is then we reshifted that and went to a virtual view, if you will, of different trail systems around the state. So our hardcore map budget went down, but I can tell you right now, our video production budget is about $50,000 to $60,000 a year out of the program. We're talking a statewide program. And we've worked with our different public information officers. We run Google ads, but there's still a cost with that cost us a certain amount of money. And we tried to streamline. If we want premium spots, that's going to cost us more. And so I'm not debating, I'm not trying to go into account of, hey, is it $15,000 to do that for 4 events? I can tell you on our video productions this year, we spent $75,000, and that's on 50th anniversary promotional items of highlighting different people that have an impact, different trail riding experiences around the state, in that. So I just, obviously it's a council recommendation to advise the program to go forward. I don't know if I don't think anything's for free anymore, unless you want, type of non, maybe
Free.
something. Yeah, you get what you pay for. And if you go free, you're probably not going to get that type of turnout to show up. Anyway, I'll be quiet.
Rachel? This is Devin Chavez for the phone. I know this isn't my world. This is like third kind of thing when it means we should have been a lot more. I haven't read this grant. I don't know specifics about shooting or shooting, but I can tell you that one of the things that my involvement's been the last, Chris, 7 years now that I've been doing this, has been assisting with state contractors who do videos for the state to make sure that people listen.
Yeah.
And it sounded crazy to me too the first time I heard it, but for high quality video, depending on what you're using it for, if it's going on television or larger screens or Mavericks or depending on things like that, you get what you pay for. like I said, I'm not talking specifics about this, but in general, and I spent these last 2 weeks out with people on state contracts shooting different videos. Just one day of having someone, a two-man crew and myself out on site shooting something, that's just having them there shoot the video, was $3,500 just for the day of it.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Is there a difference, but you said there's a difference in video if you're going large screen. What about social media like Facebook and YouTube? Is that a different quality? Can an iPhone and a Galaxy S10 do quality video on YouTube and Facebook? Because I do watch a lot of YouTube and Facebook, so I can see the quality. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so social media, as far as Facebook and Twitter, that's going to compress the video a lot more, but something like YouTube is going to be able to expound that video quality a lot more. And then you guys mentioned television too. There are certain laws governing television about how that quality has to be broadcast, involving things like color spacing, frames per second, a bunch of stuff I won't talk about in this because it doesn't really pertain to it. But you're not only paying for the camera that goes and shoots the video, you're paying for the person behind the camera that knows how to shoot it. Whether they're shooting it, if the people that we hire on state contract, I really don't care if they use a $50,000 camera or an iPhone. I'm paying for the person that knows how to get the shots, that knows how to do the lighting, and that can edit it after the fact. Because if they can give me a bunch of video that I can't use or even open in my programs, it's useless to me. I need to pay for them to know how to shoot it and then edit it. But again, that's broad spectrum. That's just something that I've worked with Chris on a number of times. I can't speak to specifics for this one, but you're not just looking at stuff for cameras. You're looking at the person shooting it, the quality of work they put out, and for them to edit it and store it. Sorry, thank you.
Thanks, Devin.
Thanks, Devin. That's great technical information to take into account.
All right. Are there any other questions, or do you guys want to go into scoring these? Remember, it's just a yes, no score, nothing else.
Let's score. This is Brody.
Right, I love it. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first one, and I'll just go through and list it. I'm also going to turn the lights off so we can.
I'll get them.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
This would have been one I would ask questions about. Again, there's multiple ones in here, and so we'll just go the way you want to do it right now.
Okay. So number one is for the Beaver Main Street Trailhead. It is by the Tusher Mountain ATV Club. It's taking place in Beaver County. The total project request is $47,483. Their request for FIG is $37,115. Their match is 22%. So I am just going to quickly start through the list, and I know no one likes to go first at the beginning, so I'll cycle through. But Brody, do you want to begin?
Yes.
Okay. Jason?
Yes.
Scott?
Okay, yes.
Yes. Tommy?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
And Ron?
Yes.
This passes with flying colors. It is a, 7 out of 7? And I'm just going to quickly. Sorry, let me just lock. Okay. Next is number 2. It is the Duchesne County Trail Construction and Maintenance Equipment. It's for Duchesne County. It's taking place in Duchesne County, and their total project is for $34,800. They're requesting $20,880. It's a 40% match. I will start out with Jason.
Yes. Yes.
Tommy.
Yes.
Tyson.
Yes.
Fred.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
And lastly, Brody.
Yes.
Okay. That passes again. Well, passes with every answer as yes. So number 3, it is the BOR 2022 Slorax OHV Education. It is put on by the Backcountry Off-Road Adventure Rally, also known as BOR. This will be taking place in Salt Lake City. Their total project cost is $6,812. They are requesting $5,100 with a 25% match. Scott?
Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Number 4 is for the Garfield County ATV maps. It's taking place in Garfield County. Their total project cost is $25,427, and they are requesting $20,000. The 21% match. I believe we're on to Tommy.
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And Scott?
Yes.
Great. All right, number 5. It is the Pike County Ride Responsibly campaign. It's taking place in Pike County. Their total project cost is $12,000, and they're requesting $10,800. That is a 10% match. Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Great. All right, number 6, it is for Uinta County. It is the OHV trail videos and interactive mapping in Uinta County with Utah.com. Their total project cost is $200,000. They are requesting $150,000, and that is a 25% match. I believe I'm on to Fred first.
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes. Yes, with questions.
Should we discuss those questions now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Scott. I was just concerned with the cost and the product we'd be getting. I was actually intrigued with what they put down, and it would be nice, it'd be just lovely if I'd be able to look at the product before we get it, but.
We are, if I can answer that. We
Yeah,
will-
please go ahead, will you state your name?
Sorry. Cody Draper, Utah.com. It was, the 15th is when it was due. It actually has evolved even since it was submitted. We're constantly working on it. We actually, if you want, we have the map somewhat ready if you want to put it up there. Once again, there's a lot, even the next 2 weeks, every day we're developing it. Alicia said we're really not required to put anything, but we wanted something in your hands. So if you just,
On the application that you have it?
he's got it right here on his computer.
It is,
Send her a link real quick. But what is really interesting is getting not only the 10-minute video, the 2-minute video, but all the other videos that are going to go through each obstacle. It's a lot of editing, a lot of video work, but a lot of valuable education for people who, even when I retire, like Chris Holler, I want to go take my wife out and do all these trails, but I don't want to roll over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to love looking and using this database. But he's sending that over. Anyways,
Email?
this is once again very rough, so this will become more and more usable. We have a trail rating system too, and we're gonna put an actual key on there going through 1 through 10, and what a 1, very detailed what a 1 is. I'll let the detail what a 10 is. The video will live here. It's not completely finalized yet, but once it is finalized, the main video will live there. Photos of the actual trail will live here. And then also the 2-minute video will live here. And then as you scroll down the page, you'll get a full description of the trail. Once again, this will be, and we'll even, let's say 4 years from now, this project could be done in 2 years. That won't stop us from continually updating this and upgrading it forever. As you scroll down, we're gonna have a GPX file, KML file, PDF files, every file a user is gonna need in one spot to ride this trail. The dirt biker, I have the hardest time finding GPX files on any trail, and I can just quickly upload them to any app and then I'm good. And then as you scroll down, then we'll have this, if you zoom in a little bit, this interactive map where the trailhead starts. Just right there. There we go. And then as you go along the trails, maybe zoom out a tiny, oh, there you go, perfect. And as you go along the trail, each little icon they can click on, like do the first, this is just a test obstacle, a video will pull up on how to handle that obstacle. If you're on a dirt bike, if you're on a four-wheeler, or if you're on a razor, what's the best way to do it? And then moonshine, this is all rough, this is just pictures we got while we were out there, but the videos will upload soon. And then someone can sit there and say, all right, you know.
I can do that.
I can do that, or I'd rather not risk my family doing this. It looks a little difficult watching this guy do it in this vehicle. Or a four-wheeler, you know, you see a side-by-side and all of a sudden, you know, it goes up on all three wheels and someone's about ready to tip. That happened a couple times. We shot this and we're like, a lot of people are going to see this and say, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to skip this obstacle and I'm going to shoot over to, so this is just one trail. When we get them all uploaded, they'll see, oh, I'm going to actually skip this obstacle, shoot over to this trail system and do this loop and do those obstacles instead. But they can interact with it quite a bit to make those decisions.
For the dollar, if I could I ask a question, Jim?
Yes.
For that dollar amount in that grant, how many miles of trail is that?
We're looking at 10, at this point, it's 10 full trails, well, 11 trails, but 10 trails essentially. Each trail, we're not putting a mile limit on it. We're letting them pick whatever 10 trails they want. Each trail we're going to take, we have a camera crew. It's Center Star. They're the ones who do a lot of the state parks videos and the OHV trails that have already been done. So they're very experienced, but we also rent, we need to get 4x4 ATVs. And then I think Mike Cook and Center Star agreed one trail a day and whatever we need to do to get that done during that whole day. And then we have to take extra time on these obstacles and redo them and make sure each person could do the route the right way.
Rough idea.
So how many miles did you say?
This trail is 20 miles, and it's one of the shorter ones because it's more technical. And they range from 20 miles up to 70 miles in the county. So it could.
So a total of how many, just to throw a figure out, kind of.
How many miles total?
Yeah.
I mean, a low figure would be obviously 200 if they're around 20, you said 300 to 70, so I could say up to
300 miles then?
300 to 350
A
miles.
substantial amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
that's where I was going.
yeah, the video is only of obstacles along that, or will you have
No,
video?
the whole trail.
The whole trail?
But so what will happen is you're watching, we have another aspect of building, and as you're watching the video, you watch the video and then you can click ahead and go to each trail, or you can stay and watch the video of the trail. Once again, if you're on a flat, boring part, it'll be sped up a little bit. So you're gonna be going through that trail, you know, quite a bit quicker, and they might cut out the parts where really it's irrelevant information. It's on a road, no one needs to really see that. But down to, here's the highlights, here's most of the trail, and you can skip ahead on the video.
So will you have control of that, a person
Yes,
operating?
as a user, yes.
You'll have full control back, and
This-
then you can go onto that's the video. You can also go onto the map, interact with the map, and click on each obstacle and watch it.
You watch the clip.
The clip of,
You don't have to watch.
You don't have to watch the full 8-minute video, you just watch the clips,
Stairway
if
to
that's all you
Heaven,
care about.
Commando, you know, they have their names for each crazy obstacle, but you can click on Stairway to Heaven and say, you know, watch the 2-minute clip of Stairway to Heaven, and you're like, okay, this is what I want to do, let's move on to the next jump trail.
So on this particular one, in the application, there is a link
Mhm.
to
A video.
the actual video, the 8-minute video.
Yep.
That describes, you know, just what you're saying there. And so I don't know if anybody else have a chance to watch that video. I thought it was pretty high quality. There's,
Yeah.
you know, they have a side-by-side there. They had a Jeep there. They had a motorcycle there. just kind of
The
give.
whole project looks like what we had hoped some of
Right.
the other people.
Right. My notes were the same as you, Scott. I had a lot of money with an exclamation point, and then I watched the video and then it says, but excellent product is what after I watched the video is kind of where I.
Chairman, sorry, go ahead.
So no, I'll keep taking up too much time if I keep asking questions, because like I said, it was intriguing when I first seen it, and I go, okay, how do we expand this product for the whole state? Where's the database going to be held at? Who's going to be responsible for keeping it up? I mean, I'd like to see this at a state level.
All of it.
We have 3 counties right now already ready, waiting for this to be approved, and then they want to jump in. Cat, Paiute, and Sevier. We also have 3 other counties that were approached, and they said, we're interested, but we haven't actually been able to sit down and show them the product yet. But everyone has been we even have Paiute have 2 other projects. They said, you know what, we're pushing these aside because this is really important and we want this before our camp because we get problems of people coming out here and now we spend the whole day trying to help them get off the trail, but they have no clue what they're doing.
One other question, is there any way to blend what you're doing in with this 360 imaging stuff that we've been doing this last year and somehow combine this all together? Because we did a bunch of grants for the 360 imaging.
Looks like maybe Rachel has some.
I was gonna say real quick before she goes.
I was going to
Rachel.
ask a question. At the end of this, who will own the videos? Will Utah.com own them or will the counties?
The county has full access to
Full access to
all
the
raw
videos?
footage, all finalized footage, all footage at all. They can do whatever they want. What our goal is to take our database
Mhm.
and make it an API that they can put on their website too. So if we actually will have a filter system, so let's say all 20 trails show up in Uinta, they can collect whether they want to be on a beginner trail, how long the trail, and what vehicle they will be on, and then the trails will then come up to the ones that meet their criteria. They can dive into that same page and watch all the videos, look at the obstacles, all of that will be there, and we'll be able to push it off, and Uinta will say, hey, I want it on my site, great, we'll put it right on your site too. So it can live in both places, but we will always have it on our servers forever, and make sure we pay those in server fees for it. Sorry.
Did Mr. Stewart have a question?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're behind.
So I think what you're doing here is awesome. I'm excited. It's the future. But my question is when you're using all the vehicle money to the big program, would the new OHV program, once it gets into place, would they be part ownership of it because they are helping fund it? Will they have documents of everything in case?
And obviously, I cannot, nor will I speak on who, how the predecessor to me would address that. I would hope that the relationship would still be intact with Uinta County and that Uinta County would be more than willing to share that because that just boosters and increases that ownership because there's other people that follow the program that probably do not follow Uinta County. There's the opportunity to highlight that through different social media aspects and to also, as what we've always tried to really promote here out of the program over the last 3 to 4 years is trail systems that are underutilized to alleviate the stress on those overridden trails across the state. So I would imagine where Uinta County would be the owners of those, that they more than likely would share them with us through the agreement that we have, considering how that funding was provided from the OHV program. But once again, that's probably a decision January 1st.
Appreciate what you're doing, so. And I think Chris is spot on, so. It was just a curious question.
No, I love
We have other programs that will be coming into the room and we need to be prepared to make sure that we protect what our money is bought, that we get a share of it. So anyway, thank you. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and rank this one.
Yeah, we are on to Tommy
Yes.
and Tyson.
Yes.
Okay. On to the next one. This is the High Desert Trail. This is number 7. This is the High Desert Trail in Color County OHV trail signage / maintenance. It is for Iron County. Their total project cost is $27,630. They are requesting $20,420. That is a 26% match. I'll start with Ron because I lost where we were.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Yes.
Okay. Now we're on to Brody.
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
Tyson,
Yes.
and Fred.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the next one. This is number 8. This is the Daggett County.
Rachel, can we,
Oh.
sorry to interrupt, but I would like to,
Yeah, unless you need to stick around.
I'd like to ask you about an hour's worth of questions.
Why don't you get his business card?
You want
Go home.
But I'll give him
You've got a phone number and stuff. I want to talk to you.
let me write down. I'll write it down.
Mr.
Go ahead, Chris.
Mr. Chair, what I wanted to do, and I hate to interrupt the process that Rachel's going through. We have a guest that joined us here in person. It's the Department of Natural Resources Deputy Director, Nathan Schweibach. And so wanted to acknowledge him. Nathan, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So Nathan Schweibach, I was formerly the communications director for the department for the past 7 years. In the private sector, but apologize for being late. A lot of obligations and responsibilities, so I apologize for that. But really excited to be working with State Parks, the Division of Recreation. And there are tremendous opportunities and tremendous challenges. I know the off-highway vehicle program is dealing with and working through it. Excited to just contribute where I can.
What's the significance of this?
Look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You bet.
Okay, let us proceed. Just got a text from the pizza place that it will be ready and delivered for 6:30. So just an FYI. I know, right? It's on time. All right. So number 8 is for Daggett County website digital maps for download. It's taking place in Daggett County. Their total project cost is $14,582. They're requesting $11,500. It is a 21% match. I'm going to start with Brody first.
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Tyson.
Yes.
Oh, I missed Tommy. Tommy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and Ron.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is number 9. This is also by Daggett County. It's for the OHV advertising and content creation and placement. Their total project cost is $70,560, and they're requesting $55,100. It's a 22% match. Jason, would you like to start?
Yes.
Scott? Scott?
So I heard yes. This is one I have issues with, but I'm going to tell you yes.
Okay. Sorry. Tommy?
Yes, ma'am.
Tyson?
Yes.
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Okay. So number 10, it is for the City of Aurora. What they're looking to do is it's the electronic downloadable map for Aurora City. Their total project cost is $15,195. They are requesting $12,000 total. I think we are starting with Scott.
Just hold on a second here. Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
All right, moving on to the next one. This is also by Aurora City. It's number 11. Aurora City Area OHV Trail System Promotional Campaign. It's taking place in Sevier County. Their total project cost is $68,734. They're requesting $50,800. It's a 26% match. Sorry. All right, I'll fix that after. Tommy?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Different sound coming from Cody.
That's not me.
That's me.
Jason?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, Scott?
Yes, but I have issues with all this promotional stuff. This is one that I would really, not necessarily this one, but several of the promotional ones I would like to discuss, but I'm giving you yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to do this real quick.
Look at you go.
Okay. Okay, this is for Uinta County, and they are requesting it is a side-by-side for their search and rescue. Their project total is $28,000. They are requesting $18,200. It's a 35% match. Did that. I always get confused with this. Okay. Tyson?
I'm gonna abstain on this one. I'm on Uinta County Search and Rescue.
Okay, thank you. Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't see it. Jason?
Yes.
Yes.
Tommy? Great. So the next one is number 12. Number 13. This is the OHV Trail Crew Captain. It is being put on by the Utah OHV program. The total project cost is $153,683. They are requesting $68,640. It is a 55% match. And Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes, but I would like to double the figures. There is not enough money I want more money in this.
Would you like me to have this or you?
I'll answer that, Scott. So obviously, I don't know who my predecessor is going to be, and I don't want to paint them into a corner or handcuff them. I also believe that the amount that's in front of you is a good base start to work from based upon other soft grant monies that the program will probably pursue in the near future. If this was a different request from a county or a city or a municipality or federal agency, I would probably say absolutely. But I don't want to handcuff other potential projects that are out there on the horizon for the next 2 quarters because the program is siphoning the money away. And I hope you know where I'm coming from. I think this is a great base to work from to help out with that. And I really appreciate it. But I
think we could triple it. There is tons of maintenance needs to be done out there, tons of it.
I agree, and I know moving forward that's going to be one of those. The coordination has begun, and you know we've started out in this process, and we completed 26 projects this year in a matter of about 5 months. We're already coordinating efforts for next year. However, and I'm not. I'm still here. I'm still drawing a check. So I'm going to decline the offer. And thank you so much.
Okay. That was your retirement fund. No, I'm just joking. We know.
Easy.
We know.
All right. Tommy?
Yes.
And Tyson?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, it will not show me the column A. So this is, I have to look up.
Number 14.
14, thank you. So this is number 14. It is for videos of events for promotion. It is being sponsored by Pike County, taking place in Pike County. They're requesting $20,000, $20,326, and big funding will be $15,406. 24% match. All right. Forgot where we were, so.
It's okay.
You're on me, Ron? Great. Ron?
Yes.
And now things aren't typing. I love this. Okay. Sorry. Brody.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Rachel, this is Tyson, can you put your spreadsheet back on the screen, please? Is that possible?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm struggling with my spreadsheet right now.
Okay.
It's really
No,
frustrating.
it's just,
Okay, now it's loading. Sorry. It's delayed. Anyways, okay, Jason, let's try.
Yes.
Does anyone know why this is happening on my spreadsheet? It's never happened before.
Is it in Excel or in Google Sheets?
It's in Excel. Because it's not loading, nor is it calculating. All right, hold on a second, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Don't,
Take your time. Get it where you need it.
okay, I'm going to stop sharing just so I can figure this out. I apologize.
What's your spreadsheet?
You wanted me to take some magazines back? Like Federal and Tourism Department.
What?
You and a can.
Can I sneak one? Thanks, buddy.
Hold on. At work. Let's try it. Okay,
Yes.
hold on one second. Okay, Scott.
Yes.
Here we go, it's working. It's loading. All right, Tommy,
Yes.
Tyson,
yes.
Brett,
Yes.
and then Ron already went. Okay. So this is number 15. It is the Uinta County Enclosed Trailer sponsored by Uinta County. Their total project cost is $15,000. They are requesting $11,250. It is a 25% match. Brody, would you like to start?
Yes.
Oh. How is this? There we go. Okay. Jason.
Yes.
Yes.
Tommy.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Fred.
Yes.
Fun.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one is the Richfield City FR 096. It's a CCC road taking place, project sponsor is Richfield City. It's taking place in Sevier County. Their total project cost is $285,150. They're requesting $345,345,000. I don't think I did it right, but 35% match. Jason,
Yes.
I want to.
Need to up that grant and get you a new computer. Really?
Like a new computer. I don't know what's going on with it.
I'm telling you, it is.
No,
It's doing,
we want to be here till 11.
it wants us to, really. I'm just gonna,
Help the napkin and just.
Good thing, man.
these are gonna be unfrozen, so.
I can make us a quick sheet and write it down if you want.
No, it's just, I need to see the names, but I think that if I freeze it all, it's acting weird.
Making it
So-
freeze the rest.
Yes, and it's being weird. I'm just trying to,
One paper copy.
oh, yeah.
Boom.
Printed it. Just in case.
Thank you, Chairman.
So number 3 is Jason.
Yes.
All right, Scott,
Yes, with concerns.
would you like to voice those?
We've already talked
Yeah,
about those.
got it. Great, okay. Tommy.
Yes.
Awesome. Jason,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Ron,
Your one off. Yes.
all right, number 17, this is the Rich County Digital Content, Radio, TV, and Social Media Promotion taking place in Rich County by Rich County. They're requesting their total project cost is $66,630. They're requesting $52,700. It is a 21% tax. Cody?
Yes.
That's fine. What is wrong with this? Okay, Brody, that was a yes.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Jason?
Yes. I'm going to say no, but I wished I would have been able to discuss this a little bit. Maybe somebody would have convinced me to put yes on it.
Okay. Tommy?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Next is number 18. It is the Rich County Trail Mapping Project. Project sponsor is Rich County, taking place in Rich County. Their total project cost is $14,140. They're requesting $12,000. It is a 15% match. Let's go with Jason.
Yes. Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And Brody?
Yes.
Okay. On to the next one. This is number 19. It is the Duchesne County Geosynchronized OHV Trail Mapping taking place with Duchesne County. Total project cost is $15,568. Requested amount is $12,143. It is a 22% match. Let us start with Jason.
Yes.
Scott.
Only question I have is there going to be a duplication of this with what the other guy was wanting to do? But I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Tommy.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Final this afternoon.
Fred.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna screw him on there. Brody,
Yes.
then Ron, sorry,
Yes.
confusing me. All right, this is number 20. It is the Aurora City Trailhead Park Development Project taking place with the City of Aurora and Sevier County. Total project is $95,670. They're requesting $68,845. It is a 28% match. I want to say we're on to Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes, okay. Tommy,
Yes.
Tyson,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and lastly, Jason.
Yes.
On to the next one. This is number 21. It's the Pike County Butch Cassidy ATV Trail taking place in Pike County. Their total project is $65,200. They are requesting $62,000. It is a 5% match. Let us begin with Tommy.
Yes.
Tyson,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yep.
Okay. Lastly, we did it, guys. Number 22, trail counters and equipment. It is in Emery County Travel Bureau. Their total project cost is $24,500. They're requesting $13,000. It is a 47% match. I believe we are on Tyson.
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
Okay, so looking at this, it looks as though they all pass for a total of 900. Oh my gosh, someone help me.
913,244.
Guys know I struggle with this every time. Maybe one day I'll get it right. So, okay. I'm gonna stop sharing, but after we take a quick little look at it. So after this, we will have leftover funding of a little over $1.7 million left over for the next 2 quarters. So, all right, Ron.
Okay. So next on our agenda is an action item. I would entertain a motion to
Ooh, I know. Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to recommend the funding of these grants to the
It'll go to the
state,
It'll go to the Outdoor Adventure
to
Commission.
the Outdoor Adventure Commission.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay, will you state your names again, just for the audio?
Tommy George,
Make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Jason, I'll second it.
All right, let's do a roll call on that. Should we? Yeah, let's go ahead and do a roll call on that.
Mr. Chair, I would indicate those that as going through the roll, they state their name
Yes.
Okay,
as well, please.
Tommy, Jason done. So state your name.
This is Scott Wheeler. Yes.
Ron Tolman, yes.
Brody, we'll start with you.
Brody Johnson, yes.
Fred
Fred Kirchison, yes.
and Tyson.
Tyson Todd, yes.
We're kind of scheduled for.
Okay, we are.
Okay, Chris over here.
Chris, do you have any words of wisdom to
What I would
do with our spare minutes?
What I was going to propose is that we know that dinner's going to be coming here in a few minutes. I thought maybe if, and this would be, the advisory council would need to make a motion and adopt that motion is to adjust the agenda and move the program update up into this category after grant recommendations, while we do have Deputy Director Schweibach here to be represented, respectful of his time, and we could have dinner. And so with that, along those lines, as most of you are probably very familiar with, beginning July 1st of this year through the passage of the 2020 legislative House Bill 346, there was a new creation of a division. So the Division of Parks and Recreation was split and peeled off. And I've talked about this in previous council meetings. So now there are two different divisions. There are a total of 9, I got to get this right. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan. I believe there are 9 different divisions now underneath the Department of Natural Resources.
There are 8 divisions and 2 offices.
8 divisions and 2 offices. So Plipto is an office that moved underneath the umbrella of the Department of Natural Resources, and it's the Department of Energy, correct?
Governor's Office of Energy Development.
Okay. Not to be confused with economic opportunities. But anyway, along those same lines, there was the creation of a new division. There were previously 7 divisions in the department, all working unison together. And so now the OHV program, the statewide boating program, and the recreational trails program all now fall underneath the umbrella of the Division of Recreation. And so with that, Nathan and I spoke earlier today. So if you have questions that you want to ask about specifics to the Division of Recreation, along with program items, this is the opportunity to do that right now. And some things we don't know. So if we don't know, we're going to say we don't know. I mean, but if we are able to address those, then we will. Does that cover anything you want to add, Nathan?
Maybe the only thing I might add is kind of the genesis of all of this. And as the last legislative session evolved, what became really clear, one of the challenges we face with the Division of Parks and Recreation was long-term planning. So you had Division of Parks and Recreation, and you had Office of Outdoor Recreation.
Yeah, we can also give you that little.
I'll just come up.
Okay.
And each had their responsibilities and their functions. But one of the challenges we had was really from a statewide planning perspective. So the best example that I kind of had throughout the legislative session as we were dealing with some of these issues internally was, if you look at Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon versus the Ochre Mountains, Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon are inundated with recreators. And then just across the valley, you have the Ochres, which are really quite untouched. And there are places all throughout the state where this is a problem or opportunity, however you want to look at it. And this goes for non-motorized, motorized, all kinds of different recreation. And so the intent of it really is to put the focus on long-term planning with recreation in mind. That goes for motorized and non-motorized. And we believe and felt, the legislature felt, and we supported, that the best way to do that was to create the Division of Recreation that would bring that planning focus to the center of things. And so that's kind of the genesis, what the intent is, and personally, I think it will be successful, and we can meet some needs as we continue to grow as a state and opportunities arise, and we can make sure those motorized needs are front and center with the grant program. It really is ideal. It'll be good. So that's maybe just what I would add, and I might have the ability to answer some questions, and if not, I'll get answers and I'll get it back to you.
I'm always asking too many questions.
State your name.
Pardon me?
State your name.
Oh, Brett Stewart, Utah OHV Advocates. So this process, I supported the bill legislation, and I think it is a good step moving forward. We had a July 1st date that we figured we was going to know who was going to be in the executive director position, a highway vehicle coordinator, who who's the director, and July 1st is came and gone.
Yeah.
When do you expect to make the announcement?
So I can let you know. So Pitt Gruey from the Office of Outdoor Recreation has accepted that position. In fact, today, I believe today was his first starting day.
Okay. And what position, director?
Director of Division of Recreation.
Okay.
Part of the reason why that took so long is there are some cleanup aspects that need to happen this next legislative session. Just some I don't want to say corrections, but there's just some nuances that need to be fixed and changed to make that change happen. So we've been working through that between Office of Outdoor Recreation, DNR, the governor's office, working through those things, but that appointment was just made.
Question to go with it is, so Chris will be leaving, I believe, December 31st or something like that. Who's going to be, when do you think I'll make an announcement of who the go-to person will be?
So Brian Steed has been, Executive Director Steed has been working pretty aggressively on that. I don't have a timeline yet, but I'll make sure we communicate that clearly. I absolutely hope it is before. I can't guarantee it, but I know that that's the intent.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So where does the Office of Outdoor Recreation fit into this? This is Jason asking a question. Okay. I'm not really sure. I need better direction on that because it's been Director Steed who's been having those discussions on what needs to change and how that needs to evolve or how the Office of Outdoor Recreation is going to fit in. So he's been having those discussions. I'm just not sure, but let me get a response and I'll get it to you.
Any other questions?
Are there any questions online, Fred, Brody, or Tyson?
This is Brody. I don't have any questions. Just kind of curious to see how it all shakes out.
The one aspect I might add is I'm thinking through some of the information I've obtained is the intent of the Office of Outdoor Recreation was really always business focused. And so if you look at their responsibilities, yes, they had a few grant programs, but they were heavily engaged on the business side of things. I don't believe that changes because the intent and focus of the Division of Recreation is planning and execution of projects. So that to me is a better division of responsibilities.
Fred or Tyson?
I'm just waiting to see the dust all settled.
We all are.
This is Tyson. I don't have any questions or comments.
Any other questions? Oh, I'm like
Yeah,
stealing your show here.
You're good.
Any other questions? Hey, what kind of pizza do we get?
So that's the most important question.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Will this affect, this is Fred, will it affect any of the OHV training?
No, I would anticipate trainings being affected at all.
And I'll come back to that, Fred, to let you know too. We are in the process now of combining. How can I say this? We are working diligently with the boating program now to try to streamline the education courses that are available by the private providers online. Doesn't change the private vendors that provide that service hands-on. We are simply going to move into a direction in which we have one course provider online in hopes of reducing the cost to the customers. You look at a family here in Utah, they take an ATV course and a snowmobile course. They're in it right now over $65 for one person. That is unacceptable currently. And so we're wanting to reduce that. We also are looking at a suite. So say a family buys a suite of say, hey, we're going to have 3 or 4 different training opportunities for our individual family. And here's the reduced price. Now that family or group would need to get that completed within a year. But we believe that this is a more efficient and effective way to conduct that. They will also be handling the certification cards, which reduces our touches in the office now by a full-time person and minimize some of that workload. They'll be also in charge of that database because for us to store that with all the names and personal information and is just a huge burden, I believe, to have on the state. And to inherit that risk should someone get through those firewalls. And so we are fast tracking this and working with state purchasing. We hope that a single vendor is selected and will be in place January 1st of 2022.
Okay.
As a
Just keep me,
father,
just keep me teaching.
Oh, you know, obviously so. Just given your track record, young man.
All right, any other program update?
Let's,
Or should we go ahead and break and?
I think what we should do is what I would recommend is that we go to dinner break, and then we can come back with the remainder of the program update after we reconvene with the agenda. I just wanted to be respectful of Deputy Director Schweibach's time.
Absolutely.
here for the duration. We're good.
All right, let's go ahead and take a, looks like we've scheduled 15 minutes for a break for lunch. And I guess the YouTube will turn off and
Yeah.
we'll be told when it's time to go back on or,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Paul,
I copy, setting a 15-minute clock and going on to break. You are now muted.
thank you.
One.
Welcome back from our break. The next item on our agenda is my favorite part of being on this council. I look forward to this each and every year, and that is our Open Public Meetings Act training. And Rachel, I'm going to turn the time over to you for that.
Okay,
In a moment.
thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to talk with my mouth full. Okay. So I'll be presenting this, and Paul, you're going to have to let me know if you can hear this. But this is the training that I've done in the past. It just has a video. It's pretty short. I don't think it would take, honestly, more than maybe 10 minutes. So, just going to continue. Okay.
It'd be more of that pizza. It's pretty good.
So what's the Open and Public Meetings Act? It's the state law that ensures government actions and deliberations are openly conducted. Before we continue, keep in mind that this video is an overview, and exceptions may exist based on your entity type. So what's considered an open and public meeting? It's when a governing body majority meets to discuss or act upon government business. It includes the meetings sometimes referred to as workshops or executive sessions. Regular meetings, public hearings, electronic meetings, and emergency meetings are all open and public meetings. Open and public meetings don't include chance or social meetings. A public hearing is a type of open and public meeting where citizens have a reasonable opportunity to speak. Public hearings happen when a government adopts a budget or imposes or increases taxes or fees. An electronic meeting is a type of open and public meeting that's convened electronically, such as via phone or the internet. Remember, the governing body must adopt a resolution, rule, or ordinance allowing governing electronic meetings. An open and public meeting may be closed to discuss any of the following: a person's character, competence, or health, security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, collective bargaining, litigation, purchase, sale, or lease of property if an open discussion would prevent the entity from completing the transaction on the best terms, investigations of criminal misconduct, and private or protected information per the Utah Procurement Code, including trade secrets. 2/3 of the governing body need to vote yes to close the meeting. Quick math lesson. 2 divided by 3 equals 66.7%. Let's say your governing body has 5 members. If 3 out of the 5 members vote yes, that equals 60%, which is not equal to or greater than 66.7%, which means you're 1 member short and instead need 4 out of 5 members to vote yes. During a closed meeting, a governing body can't interview someone applying to fill an elected position, discuss filling a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, discuss the character, competence, or health of a person whose name was submitted for consideration to fill a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, or approve any ordinance, resolution, rule, regulation, contract, or appointment. If a closed meeting is discussing a person's character, competence, or health, or security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, no recording or minutes are required. However, the presiding member needs to sign a sworn written statement stating such. If the closed meeting is held for any other reason, a recording must be made. Emergency meetings may be held to discuss an urgent matter due to unforeseen circumstances. In order to hold the meeting, the best notice that's feasible is provided of the time, location, and topics to be considered. An attempt is made to contact all governing body members, and the governing body majority approves the meeting. Entities that hold regular meetings need to provide notice at least annually of the year's meeting schedule. As always, the notice must include date, time, and place. For entities that don't hold regularly scheduled regular meetings, 24 hours notice must be provided. All meetings, whether regularly scheduled in advance over the course of the year or scheduled as needed, must provide no less than 24 hours notice of meeting agendas. If a public hearing is held, public notice requirements change. Make sure to distinguish between regular meeting notice requirements and public hearing notice requirements. For regular meetings, an entity is only required to notify a newspaper and doesn't need to pay to publish a notice. For public hearings, notice must be published in at least one issue of a newspaper. If a newspaper of general circulation isn't available, written notice is posted in 3 public places within the entity's boundaries. Regular meetings require 24 hours notice. Public hearings require 7 days notice. For both regular meetings and public hearings, written notice must be posted at the principal office of the governing body, or if no such office exists, at the building where the meeting will be held. Governing bodies must also provide notice of open and public meetings on the public notice website at publicnotice.utah.gov. By posting on the website and providing the email of the local newspaper, governing bodies can also meet the requirement to notify a newspaper. However, other requirements such as publishing in a newspaper still apply. Typically, the posting on the public notice website is done by the records officer, recorder, or clerk. However, it's the governing body's responsibility to ensure notice is provided. State Archives has prepared a training manual and quick guide for owners and posters, as well as training videos that can be accessed at their website at archives.utah.gov. If your entity is increasing a fee or undergoing treatment taxation for a property tax increase, be aware that there are additional notice and posting requirements. Public meeting agendas need to include reasonably specified topics to be considered, with each topic listed under a separate agenda item on the meeting agenda. The governing body may not consider a topic in an open meeting that wasn't on the agenda. If a new topic not on the agenda is raised by the public during an open meeting, the governing body may discuss the topic. However, final action may not be taken on the new topic during that meeting. Meeting minutes and an audio recording are required for all open meetings, with limited exceptions. When an open or closed meeting is required to be recorded, it must be unedited and contain all portions of the meeting. Recordings of open meetings must be made available within 3 days. Every entity needs to establish procedures for the governing body's approval of minutes. Pending minutes are written minutes prepared in draft form and are subject to change before being approved by the governing body. Pending minutes must contain a clear indication, such as a draft or pending watermark, that the governing body hasn't yet approved the minutes and that they're subject to change. Pending minutes must be made available within 30 days. Approved minutes are written minutes of a meeting that have been approved by the governing body. Approved minutes are the official record of the meeting and must be made available within 3 business days. Whoever is responsible for taking the minutes during meetings, typically the records officer, recorder, or clerk, needs to be familiar with what OPMA requires be contained in the minutes. When a governing body closes a meeting, the following must be publicly announced and entered into the minutes of the open meeting at which the closed meeting was approved. The reason or reasons for holding the closed meeting, the location where the closed meeting will be held, and the vote of each member of the governing body, either for or against the motion to close the meeting. The recording and any minutes must include the date, time, and location of the meeting, the names of the governing body members present and absent, and the names of all others present except where disclosure would infringe on the confidentiality necessary to fulfill the original purpose of closing the meeting. For more information, access our local government resource center at resources.auditor.utah.gov.
And we did it for a year. Congrats. Okay. Here's a quiz, but I think I've already taken it, so. Yay, exactly. All right, real quickly, I'll just go through it because it is required of us. True or false, the governing body may not take final action during a meeting on a topic that is not listed on the agenda. I believe that is true. True. Multiple choice. Which of the following is not a justification? You know, we can't even see it, so never mind. The governing body may limit the amount of time a person has to speak at a public hearing. Yes. True or false, the governing body may take formal action in a closed meeting.
False.
A public hearing is an open meeting at which members of the public are provided a reasonable opportunity to comment. Yes? Okay, great. All right. share.
Okay, that's it, huh?
Yeah. And this is where life will never get back. Year after year.
So we allocated too much time for that, it looks like, but I'm okay with it. All right, our next item is an action item, and that is the review and approval of the July 27, 2021 minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes? And is there any comment or questions or corrections? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I make the motion. This is Fred.
Okay.
I'll second it. Tommy George.
Okay. And all those in favor?
And want me to go?
Should we do the roll call? Let's do the roll call. We started a precedent.
All right, Jason,
Scott, this is Scott Weir, yes.
Ron Tolman, yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and then just Tyson.
Tyson, yes.
Great.
All right.
One other quick item. It's part of the division update, correct?
Program
Jump in real quick. So we're on the program update. So most of you or all of you should have received a document emailed from Rachel. This was an item that's been brought up historically in the past from previous council members, that they are given some type of formal booklet or manual that kind of informs them of what the expectations are, what to look for, resources that are available, roles and responsibilities as an OHV advisory council member. And so Rachel took this goal on this past year and has put together a draft in front of you. We would really request that if you have any comments, that you get those back to Rachel. And with that, I'd like to turn a little time over to her to maybe explain how that views or things associated with that.
Yeah, so for this, I actually kind of created a very small committee to help me with this. It consisted of Scott Wheeler and Cliff Kuntz. So pretty much it's just a procedure manual, but it also has articles of organization. A lot of this was really brought up by Scott when he first came on as an advisory council member, feeling as though there wasn't enough, there was really no training and there was no information. I think Scott had an ideal thing of something very short and small, but it looks, as you can see, it has turned out to be 40.
There, so.
That's true, Cliff was there, but it has turned out to be 43 pages.
I was wondering too, if Scott wanted to debate some of the items that were there.
Actually, when I read it, I got back with Rachel and I says, hey, this is bigger than I was anticipating, but it's good information in there. It's actually really good reference information. When I was reading, I go, wow, I didn't know that.
I learned a lot as well.
And so I go, oh, we need to have that. But I suggested that maybe she put a 1 or 2 page
Reader's Digest version.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
at the beginning to kind of give an overview of the program, and then that information behind that would be technical information of, for example, do we fund Class B roads? Well, this is the avenue you go research, or this is where you call Chris, type of a deal. But it was
Prior to December 30th, right? Can you
I will still be calling you.
Oh, I don't know. So there's a lot in here. Again, I think as time goes on, I intend to update things. But if there's something that comes up that you are unsure of, what's nice is that these should link to the definitions page. So they link for you. And as time goes on, this will be a living document for our advisory council. And we will be updating things like, as Scott said, having somewhere where we will have more explanation of what can and cannot be used, especially for FIG. It is something that's always constantly evolving. So as time goes on, or if you see something, or if you still have questions that are come up as time goes on, let me know, and I'll update this. Go ahead, Jason.
Just one question right at the beginning. Is it 1,200 miles of trail or 12,000 miles of trail?
Should be 80,000 miles.
Yeah, there should be 80. Oh, I know what it is. It's for grooming. Is it 1,200 grooming?
Approximately 1,200 miles, but the time that we go back and forth.
That second 1,200 is 12,000.
So it's 1,200, but by the time we go back and forth over it,
Just a typo.
There's an extra, there's
There's an extra zero in the next 1,200.
it's math. It's
1, 2. Yeah, I struggled. Thank you.
That's all. That was the only one that stuck out to me.
Everyone knows that, especially when it comes to the numbers. Thank you. Yeah, so this will be a living document. So if things come up or you don't feel as if it's given enough information, please reach out to me and let me know. Again, there's 43 pages, so.
Thanks for taking the time to do it.
Yeah, that looks really good.
For, just a heads up,
Yes.
Cliff hasn't read it yet. Wait till he reads it. And so he will, I'm sure he'll have some comments.
Well, I'll just keep it as a living document
It is.
somewhere.
I believe you're exactly right. It is living and I'm sure it'll be tweaked along the way and stuff. But it's almost better than what I was given when I started. And I tell you what, if it wouldn't have been for council members, that Cliff was my main source of information. I'd have to call him and say, hey, what is this? What's that?
I bet you regretted that afterwards.
So.
Well, as a new member reading through that was very helpful.
Was it? Good.
And that's why I had the questions I did about the roads too,
Yeah.
because I was
Hey,
details and find that information. So
this is Fred. Even for an old member, that was still a lot of information there to help me see what we're doing.
Yeah, and again, if there's something that isn't there or you see that it's incorrect, or as you saw, there was an extra zero added in somewhere, let me know. I'm not perfect by any means. So, but thank you. That's all for me.
All right, Chris, do you have any program update, final words for us?
Yeah, just a couple of things to share with the council. We are participating again this year in the 3rd annual Utah Avalanche Awareness Week. That's in partnership with the Utah Office of Outdoor Recreation, along with the Utah Friends of Avalanche Center and the U.S. Forest Service Avalanche Center for the Forest Service. And so this year it's going to be held the first Monday. That would be Monday, December 6th at Sugar House Park. We will be participating as a program. Our primary focus is we will be partnering with the Utah Snowmobile Association and Weber County Search and Rescue to discuss some of the things that people can do once and render some aid once when they become trapped in an avalanche. Obviously, there's going to be so much information directed towards that. We're taking a different approach of how do you render that aid? What types of items should you have in your first aid kit? So it'll be a kind of a family setting there. Along the same lines during that week, there is, if you have a beacon, different participating stores and dealers across the state are going to participate in giving free batteries. So you show up with your beacon, they'll exchange out your batteries for free. They'll also give you a little bit of hands-on information about avalanche awareness. And so that's our approach that we're going to be going with for this year. Along the same lines, things are going very, very well. We have a seasonal position, kind of a unique partner that we came across last night. Our education specialist presented to a Girl Scout group out of Harriman, discussing the relative importance of off-highway vehicle safety and information. So we may be able to navigate that partnership possibly into the future. Along the same lines, I've been actively participating in the Outdoor Adventure Commission. Kind of a very unique title to be called commissioner. And that's just done tongue in cheek internally with people within the department and stuff. And so I will say that they are drafting a request for proposals. And that RFP, because we all work, or I work in government, you know that I can't survive without having some form of acronym. So the RFP will focus on different types of recreation resources that exist within the state, assets, demographics, and uses, along with specific areas across the state, potentially 5 to 7 different regions. So if they are in your region, I would actively suggest and engage that you participate in those regional opportunities and stuff. And so this upcoming weekend, we have Rally in the Valley, which was a funded FIG grant opportunity out of Tikaboo, kind of a unique type of ride. Rachel's going to be going down and representing the OHV program on that. And there will be a paleontologist there conducting part of the ride. So it's a very unique type of opportunity for the program to be highlighted. Along the same lines, I want to come back and revisit. Mike Thomas has been championing a lot of the trail crew. Yeah, obviously, there was an application submitted this past quarter for that. Along those same lines, Mike has reached out and made contact. I've lost my train of thought.
It's okay, it'll come back.
He has
reached out.
I talked trail crew.
Yep.
Brandon?
Not Brandon.
No.
It's sorry about the long pause here. I've really lost my train of thought. I should have wrote it down.
What was after the trail crew?
Talking about Mike and his struggles.
No, it was dang it. What am I thinking? It's something very, very unique. Oh, I know. It came back to me. So Mike, in collaboration with the Utah Office of Tourism and the Utah Office of Outdoor Recreation, did a joint collaboration with State Historical Preservation Office. If many of you remember, at the beginning of this calendar year, we had Ian Wright present to us. Mm-hmm. He's kind of Mike's counterpart, if you will, for the cultural side of things. So out of that Summit Speaker Series, which Mike did, I believe in October or September, they are actively pursuing a historical ride together that endorses cultural protection, along with introducing riders to some of those cultural items. And so, once again, a different type of partnership and to try to introduce riders to responsible recreation. We know that it exists, but this is given some of the new group of people that are arriving on scene. I don't have the current data. That will not be available until after December this year on registration. But if trends continue, we'll probably end up seeing an additional 7,000 machines registered in Utah. That puts us over 220,000 registered machines just within Utah. We tried to forecast this year for non-resident permit sales going into 2022, and I believe we ordered 75,000 permits this year because we've already have pretty much sold about 45,000 of this year so far. And, you know, obviously we're winding down with just a couple of months left to go. So those are just some of the kind of the unique opportunities that we have on the horizon that we're working on. And of course, there's other items to follow up with and things along those lines. And I guess just in closing, you know, this is my last advisory council meeting, and I've had the great pleasure of stepping in here as the new guy and got hit as the new guy for a number of meetings and really learned from previous people that sat on the council, whether those would be like, Russ Stedman, Fred Christensen, who was on there, Josh Durganson with the United States Forest Service representative, Dave Jepson with the BLM, Utah BLM state office. And I see our previous chair, but I can't remember his name. He was the snowmobiler, Doug, wasn't it? Wasn't Doug?
Doug Page.
Doug Page. He was the chair. And then we had Todd Anderson that stepped in as the chair. And, so many different council members that I had a great opportunity to work with. And Wade Allenson and others. And of course, Cliff. It's Chris Fawcett and others. And so the council has evolved in 12 years. This council is not the same body that advises the program even 3 years ago. And that's because of FIG, because this was packaged up and done very appropriately amongst the constituent base. They recognized that there were impacts associated within rural Utah from riders along the Wasatch Front. And so there was that transition. We've been able to do some amazing things with the grant money laid in, being able to disperse that to improve off-highway vehicle use across the state, to improve promotional items of different types of jamborees. We know that promotion works within a certain window. You talk to Ray Golden at a Tickaboo, and he obviously gives the OHV program a lot of credit along those lines. We've been able to help resurrect the high desert trail system, which I strongly, firmly believe that I would love to be around to see that come to fruition. And that original proposal was submitted by an OHV advisory council member, Dale Grange. At the time, it was just basically between two counties, Washington County, because of the Washington County Public Lands Bill, and Iron County. I pulled that off the shelf one day and dusted it off and said, well, why can't we do this all the way from Washington County up to Willett County? And so Michelle Evans out of Beaver County has rallied the troops around within that area and been able to do some really good there so far. But I believe it has a lot of great potential to market multiple counties and especially shoulder that season for West Desert riding, and knowing that Tommy would just love to take the high desert trail down to Grandma's house at St. George for Thanksgiving is a very unique thing, and so it's amazing to see how the counties have really grasped this and worked. It's wonderful to see where we've come in different areas around the state, such as the northeastern portion of the state, kind of, one of the last forgotten areas of riding in the state, and for them to go out and facilitate trail master plans and those being adopted by those local elected officials truly does show that a planning element is vital to the success of the OHV program. And by all means, we have had our challenges along the way. We've lost trail systems. We've suggested that other areas still remain open in collaboration, like, the Alton Robinson Canyon, which is the only open active surface mine in Utah. And what a unique setting to be able to ride through that mine, of course, safety oriented, and then to take in some of the beauty of Garfield and King County in that part of the state. I've seen some amazing things in my career, I've done some amazing things from corralling bison in a Ford Bronco when I was the assistant manager out to Antelope Island, to holding my my one and only, well, a fatality that occurred with a very young boy at the age of 5 at Bear Lake. I've had some great relationships that I've been able to establish, and a lot of people are friends to me. And you know, I've lost a great mentor, and that's Fred. And but I know he's with us, just in a different way. And I also want to just say that, you know, it's not one guy, not one individual made this program go. It's been 50 years in the making, with different people along the way: the Scott B. Hunans, the Kurt Kennedys, the Brian Twymans, the Brian Carters, the Jennifer Jones of the world, and you know, Caden Figgins and Brian Bremner and other individuals that have contributed along the way to make our program the best in the country. And I can honestly hold my head up high and say that Utah has the best ran off-highway vehicle program in the country. And that goes to the individuals that have volunteered their time on this council, that have shown up to project stewardship items, to volunteering as trail host, or have given back in other forms. And then you have people like Joan Powell, who continues to explore ways to improve off-highway vehicle riding within her own backyard, to make those community connections. And so each of you should be extremely happy, very proud of the work that you have created, and look at some of the different things that have taken place, from Take Back Utah and Mike Swenson, to Cliff with Ride with Respect, and some of those different nuances that we're facing with travel management planning and different, you know, judgments and things along those lines. I've just had the utmost great pleasure to be a part of something pretty darn big. And when you're at a point when other states are calling you to help solve their problems, that's an honor. When other states are asking, how does Utah handle street legal items? How does Utah handle, you know, off-trail use? How do you go about this? And it's the small little things. It's not the golden key. It's not the silver bullet that we have. It's the small little things like this council going through and updating the language associated with the Utah Code to bring it up. We have one of the easiest off-highway vehicle program acts in the country to read, and really try to keep it simple. Why? Because we're simple people. Obviously I started my career as a park ranger, and say, well, is it ranger proof? Because that really is a benchmark to work from. And so, little things like adopting sign standards, just those little things that make a difference, that can go a long way. Changing the way that we promote people, or when they arrive at the trailhead, by sending positive messaging rather than the negative messaging. I've talked too long. I want to ensure that we get out of here a little early, but I do want to say it's been a pleasure and an honor to be able to serve the great state of Utah. I know one thing for sure: the governor always got his 40 hours out of me throughout my 29 and a half year career. So with that, I sign off and say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great hand to a great guy, Chris. We're going to miss you.
Thank you, Fred.
I know from being actively involved with a lot of user groups and just enthusiasts in general, you've made a huge impact on a lot of different people's lives. And the ability for us to be able to enjoy what we enjoy doing with motorized travel, going back to Fred Christensen and everything, you've made a huge impact. I want to personally tell you thanks.
Thanks, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've
I tried.
earned what you're.
I got high standards in the room to try to rise up to, so
Thanks.
you're welcome.
This is Fred again. I want to always remember the first time I met you. You come in on the watercraft class and you handed out license plates with our names on them. That's still on my razor.
That, I forgot all about that. That's, yeah.
That
Yep.
was the first time I met you.
Yep, I forgot about that.
I still got all my toys too.
Good, that's important.
What's next, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I think we're just about done. I do want to make a comment as well. I've been sitting on the board of the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association for many years, and I think there's been always been a pretty good relationship between our organization and the OHV program. Chris has made certain that our sport has been represented on this council. You know, even though most of us don't even pay in, you know, we register with the state for the street, but we use your trails. Some of, you know, we get other machines and we try to participate that way, but we always struggle with all of the land use things going on, and the BLM and the Forest Service, you know, this lawsuit and that lawsuit. And I can't tell you how many meetings I've been able to sit in, and we sit there and fret and worry about some trail system that's going to maybe be closed, or some legislative action, and what can we do? What can we do? There's got to be somebody. And the state OHV program, as it's been developed by Chris and as it's been massaged by Chris, I can almost always in those meetings say, well, the state's working on this, or, you know what, we approved a grant the other night for this, and that addresses some of these things, or encourage them to seek some of those funding to resolve those problems. And as an organization and as me personally, it gives me hope for the future of OHV recreation in the state of Utah, the things that Chris has done for us.
Well, you know, we obviously, we were able to move the needle down in Glen Canyon.
Yeah.
And that was huge between the program and the association. We didn't get, you know, obviously everything that was there, but we're moving in the right step. We just need to convince Billy Schott that there is an off-highway vehicle program in Utah, and that he doesn't need to work with a small sliver in Arizona. Because the small sliver of people that are in Arizona visit both states. So let Superintendent Schott, and yeah, he forgets. And you know what I mean when I go, he forgets. So.
Well, on that note, I thought Chris was going to sing an old song by Johnny Paycheck for us before he walked out, but I guess that didn't materialize. But I would gladly, prior to 8 o'clock, accept a motion to adjourn.
Tommy George, I would make the motion to adjourn.
This is Scott Wheeler. I'll second that motion.
All right. I don't think we need to vote, right?
Nope.
I don't think so. Doesn't matter what the vote.
Yeah, right.
Tables and chairs.
Ladders and chairs.
Let's do it.
Recording stopped.